Hey guys, welcome back. And I know a lot of the conversation right now about Donald Trump is probably related to the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift and all the good memes coming out of it, due to the fact that this wildly popular pop star got massively booed at the stadium, while Donald Trump was unanimously applauded and cheered for. So again, just some fantastic memes coming out of this. However, to be honest, this is by far the least important conversation that should be going on around Donald Trump right now. So, for those of you who aren't aware, the governor of Pennsylvania, Josh Shapiro, has been a massive critic of Donald Trump so far. Go figure. This is the same Josh Shapiro, I do believe, that was rumored to be running with Kamala Harris as her vice president against Donald Trump back in 2024. Problem is, he's Jewish, so they decided to not have him run, which again is a silly thing in my opinion, but it is what it is. That being said, Shapiro has been very critical of Trump. Go figure, he's a Democrat governor, it's what you would expect, right? But criticism is the least that he's being accused of right now. So this is very interesting, and again, this is, I'm going to say, alleged, not rumor. This is something that is happening right now, but the claims right now have not been proven. So I have to get that out of the way right now. So from Times Now, we see this article that says, "Did Governor Josh Shapiro plot Donald Trump's Butler assassination attempt? Whistleblower claims surface." Now, we're going to go through the actual claims themselves, but this article here says a whistleblower has filed a criminal complaint against Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's involvement in the assassination attempt on President Trump's life in July last year. And again, this is just alleged. We got to be very clear about that. The complaint also alleges the involvement of ex-FBI Director Christopher Wray, that would not shock me, to be honest, and the Biden administration in the plot. An apparent whistleblower, according to social media reports, filed a complaint alleging Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's involvement in the assassination attempt on President Donald Trump in July last year. The reported criminal complaint was allegedly filed by former Pennsylvania State Police employee and federal whistleblower Hadassah Feinberg on February 7th, 2025. We cannot verify the authenticity of these claims at the moment. There are people, though, that we're going to go to who have been very reputable on Twitter or X, whatever you want to call it, that are investigative journalists who said this is legit. This is a real filing. As per a screenshot shared on social media, Feinberg alleged that in the days leading up to the assassination attempt on July 13th in Butler, Pennsylvania, Shapiro and other government officials, including Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris and former FBI Director Christopher Wray, orchestrated the attack as part of a political scheme. The complaint also alleged that the Biden administration blocked several attempts to report the plot to the Secret Service and FBI. Feinberg claims to have sought attempted homicide charges against Shapiro, but Butler County DA Richard Goldinger declined to file the charges. Very interesting. It says, in the week leading up to the Trump rally, President Joseph R. Biden made frequent visits to defendant Joshua Shapiro to discuss the obstacles faced by the Democratic Party. Joshua Shapiro organized, schemed, and conspired with the other officials to carry out the attempted assassination against former President Donald J. Trump, Feinberg wrote in an alleged complaint. Governor Josh Shapiro facilitated, planned, and coordinated the attempted assassination to climb the political ladder, he added. According to Feinberg, Biden met with Shapiro in the weeks before the Trump rally to discuss the Democratic Party's obstacle, and these meetings were directly tied to the assassination plan. Now, again, these are all allegations. Well, again, we're going to go through the claim itself. But what I do find very interesting is there was a lot of rhetoric leading up to the assassination attempts and even afterwards, even from Biden saying, put him in the crosshairs. Those kind of lines. Again, something that they would say is stochastic terrorism if it was coming out of Donald Trump's mouth. But again, these are all just allegations. President Trump, the then presumptive Republican nominee, was speaking at a rally in Butler, and of course we all know what happened, although we don't really know the long and the short of it. 20-year-old Thomas Matthew Crooks was eliminated. He had an AR-15 style rifle, shot by counter-terrorists or counter-sniper team. But again, who orchestrated it and how he got in there and how everything else just kind of fell apart has never really been explained. So from Sarah Fields on Twitter, it says the documents are authentic. A former Pennsylvania State Police employer has submitted an official criminal complaint with the allegations below. You can see the actual filing right here, the first 2 pages with Hadassah Feinberg's name on it, with the defendant being the governor of Pennsylvania. And again, this says, criminal affidavit. I, Hadassah Feinberg, a fiant and federal whistleblower, hereby allege that the defendant Joshua Shapiro, in his personal, individual, and official capacity, facilitated, organized, and carried out his plan to assassinate Donald J. Trump on July 13th, 2024. Defendant Shapiro was unsuccessful in completing his mission, but is responsible for organizing and facilitating it, injuring the current president, and causing the murder of Cory Comparator. Defendant Shapiro conspired and colluded with Pennsylvania officials, namely Pennsylvania State Police Commissioner Christopher Paris, to carry out the attempted assassination of Donald J. Trump. Defendant Shapiro commenced the facilitation and coordination of the attempted assassination by utilizing Pennsylvania State Trooper Commissioner Christopher Paris to conceal the crimes. It says Christopher Paris made false and inconsistent statements under oath. He falsified statements to thwart and impede the criminal investigation. Defendants Josh Shapiro and Christopher Paris' actions were willful, not a security failure. And you can imagine it just goes on, going through some of the dirt about Josh Shapiro and Christopher Paris. Even says in the complaint here, in the days leading up to the attempted assassination, Alex Soros, and again George Soros' son, I do believe, made credible threats to assassinate Donald J. Trump. He has never faced any criminal investigation despite his valid threats. Now, the one thing that has me a little concerned about this allegation, these complaints that have been filed, some of the verbiage, some of the actual grammar is a little off to my untrained eye, so I don't know how far this will even go and how well constructed this argument really is. But again, saying that Alex Soros conspired with Josh Shapiro, again, not something that I think is that far-fetched, to be honest. Josh Shapiro invited President Zelensky to meet with him in person, where he physically signed bombs in an unprecedented photo op with the Ukrainian president. In the weeks leading up to the Trump rally, Joseph R. Biden made frequent trips to see defendant Joshua Shapiro to discuss the obstacle faced by the Democratic Party. Again, most of the people involved in this, especially Joe Biden, are never going to be held accountable if there is any actual proof of any of this, guys. And again, I will try to remember to link this tweet down below so you guys can look through this for yourself. There's a lot to it. He makes a lot of allegations about a lot of people among different organizations. But the one thing I do want to point out when this is all said and done, if this response here is true to somebody named Ken Silva at Headline USA, from Richard Goldinger, from, again, the County of Butler, obviously, says, Mr. Silva, this is in response to your inquiry, and this is from Richard Goldinger, District Attorney of Butler County, about the private criminal complaint sent to me seeking criminal charges be filed against Governor Shapiro. I did receive the private criminal complaint, so that would mean that this is a real complaint. Before I go further, you need to understand that the private criminal complaint is filed by a private citizen against a named individual, which asks that criminal charges be approved by the district attorney. The majority of the time, these allegations are retaliatory, false, or unsubstantiated and unprovable. Generally, when I receive one, I have a county detective conduct some initial investigation to determine if there is any merit. I am always of the opinion that if the police do not file charges, or if the individual filing the private criminal complaint has not reached out to the police, that the allegations are questionable at best. While I did not know the history of the person making the complaint, I found the allegations to be unbelievable. So right there, you have the district attorney saying, I'm just not even going to take this seriously, so it's unbelievable to me. That being said, with the multiple investigations that were occurring, including by the Pennsylvania State Police and the FBI, yes, again, the governments are investigating themselves, both state and federal, and find that they did nothing wrong. It's the long and the short of it, in my opinion. I disapproved the complaint, relying on the fact that there were multiple investigations underway. And again, like I said earlier, we have no new information about Thomas Crooks or anything that happened that day. As of this date, there's been nothing uncovered in the investigation that would even remotely support the allegations in this private criminal complaint. So again, we investigated ourselves and found we did nothing wrong. So I'm going to leave it right there, guys. Let me know what you think about all this. I mean, I personally don't believe that this will ever go anywhere. These people, despite the fact that Trump has done a very good job putting certain people in their place, eliminating some of the DEI programs, going through, with a red pen and crossing out a lot of government spending, the U.S. aid stuff and everything else. I just unfortunately don't see this particular case going any further. But let me know what you guys think down below, and I will see you guys on the next one. Alright, and if you made it this far, thank you so much for watching the video. Thank you for being here. I do have two channels, Minimal Effort Podcast, as well as my gaming channel. I do have a Twitch and Kick for my gaming channel. We do live streams over there occasionally, maybe once a week. And then if you are in the market for a new PC, make sure to check out Meta PCs. Click the link I have down below. Use code TBO at checkout for a special discount. Thanks again for watching, and I will see you next time.